Welcome to the Organizing Garbage Podcast. I'm Ryan.
I'm Nate.
Oh, boy, we got some garbage today.
To be the Organizing Government Corruption Podcast.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Speaking of that, that actually goes right into something I was going to talk about today.
Let's hear it, buddy.
You want to hear it?
I want to hear it.
So you love what Doge is doing with the, let's freak everybody out that's been a grifter for all these years and everything. You love what's going on with that, right?
Absolutely love
So
it.
there's a new one in Alaska because, we're just going to coattail on this whole Doge thing. So we're going to do Doge Alaska.
Okay,
Want to know who's part of it?
let's hear it.
Kathy Tilton, Wasilla civic leader. I believe she was an elected official at one point.
Okay.
Bob Griffin, former member of Alaska Board of Education. Craig Campbell, former lieutenant governor. Lauren Lehman, former lieutenant governor. Dan Sullivan, former Anchorage mayor. Jordan Harry, IT and AI. Suzanne Downing, who, Suzanne does some good stories and all that stuff somewhere in Alaska. She has a must read Alaska, and I do like reading her stuff. She digs some stuff up. Portia Erickson, former community engagement director for Municipality of Anchorage. Sammy Graham, educator and former chief of staff, Anchorage mayor. Jordan Schuster, Fairbanks businessman. Jamie Allard, Eagle River. So you know what it doesn't say on here about Jamie Allard?
What?
She is an existing legislator. Do you think there might be a little conflict of interest of all these people that were prior elected people saying, oh, man, we're going to go root out this government corruption? Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, let's ride the coattails of what's really going big here, and let's cover our ass. That is exactly what that is.
Yep.
That is all that is.
Yep.
Oh, we're going to design this thing, and, we're really going to root, except for me. Like, hey, Nate, let's go root out government. Let's go root out corruption in small businesses. You and I will lead it, okay, bud?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as Chuck Schumer coming out like today and saying, hey, so we're gonna start this website where you can report corrupt government. Like that's what Doge is for. That's what we're doing. Okay, we're already on this, and now you backpedaling and trying to create your own thing to fucking distract people and cover your own ass.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going on that web page reporting Chuck Schumer for corruption.
Dude,
They're all like, oh, you designed this? Good. Here, you're a corrupt son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's the same fucking thing.
And
dude.
you know what's going on? Like, I've been watching X. There's a bunch of us Alaskans that are on a very, like, one of the guys, I can't remember. I don't want to say, I know who it is, but he invited me, added me to this list of Alaskans on X. And so you can see a lot of the local people doing everything. Dude, there's some of these people that are like, oh my God, sweet, we're going to have this Doge thing in Alaska. And it's like, do you even look into who's doing it? Like, this is nothing but a bunch of people that are ready to cover their own asses. Right. That is all this is.
It's the same thing as, like, right now I'm seeing all over, like, oh, nobody elected Elon. He shouldn't be looking at. Elon is exposing, okay, because he can't be bought. He's the richest man in the world. You can't pay him to look the other way. We've done internal audits, okay? Since the fucking 50s, this has been going on. We've done internal audits, and we can't find anything because we're doing it internally, and somebody's catching a fucking paycheck from my paycheck, and they're putting it in their pocket to look the other way and not fucking pay attention.
No. They're taking the money out of your pocket to make you lose your job.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Nobody voted for Elon, but you voted for Fauci, right? You voted for him to go do this gain of function and wreck an entire economy.
I voted for Fauci.
Yep.
I voted for George Soros to push the Black Lives fucking matter and all these riots in fucking Portland and all this other shit. Yeah, I voted for that. No, I'm sorry. And I had another one that was like, oh,
we won, you lost, and you will continue to lose because little baby podcasts like this, all it takes is to catch fire from, I don't care if it's from us. I don't care if it's from the guys in Anchorage that I know at Project Joel or whatever. These little things like this is when people pick it up and eventually someone who has a massive audience goes, oh my God, is this serious? Like, yeah, It is. It's very serious. And you know what? It's time for the losers to figure out they lost and let this play out.
The thing is, Ryan, everything that you and I talk about and how we feel, that is how a lot of Americans feel. And I know that because our last podcast we did Doge This, right? We talked about this stuff. I hadn't watched Joe Rogan's podcast yet with Brett Weinstein.
Oh yeah.
Hadn't seen it. You and I were just sitting down talking about what we think about shit, right?
Right.
And then I'm at the gym the next day and I'm watching him with Brett Weinstein and he's saying the exact same fucking shit we are.
Yeah.
Like almost verbatim. And that's not shit that I took in from watching that and then came on here and repeated it. It's you and I having a conversation speaking about what we think, how we fucking feel. And it turns out other podcasts are talking about the same exact thing, almost word for fucking word, because this is the truth. We have a corrupt fucking government that has been stealing from us and running psyops on us. So you look at USAID, okay? And how many donations went to Pfizer? How much money went to the Wuhan fucking lab that was experimenting with COVID? So basically, they took your money, my money, and every one of your fucking money, and they put it out into these fucking things, ran this psyop to then, if you don't take the jab, you lose your fucking job. So I paid to get fired from my own fucking job because I wouldn't follow the goddamn narrative.
Because you wouldn't follow your money that you spent.
How the fuck is that okay? And if somebody doesn't fucking hang for this, Ryan, I'm not even joking, dude. Line these sons of bitches up in the gallows on goddamn fucking Wall Street and hang every fucking one of them.
It's getting to the point, like we were talking today earlier, you and I were talking in the truck, and it's like, somebody's going to pay for this. And when I looked at you and said, no, somebody better. You know what? Yeah, obviously, big bad stuff. Let's bring back public hangings and all. But you know what? I'm telling you, these people that have stolen and stolen and stolen because they use your own money to continue to get elected and then steal your money to get elected again, all over and over and over. Those people need to spend a very long time in an absolute terrible concrete walled actually, I like the other one better that I brought up that was plexiglass, and we can walk around and point and laugh at them. But either way, when they finally confirm cash, when this stuff goes, I think that the people that are in the heads of the government right now, I think they understand the agitated side of so many Americans that I think that it may actually happen this time to where we see someone shackled up, frog marching, and I want the most ridiculous. I don't care if you have to hop to the car. I want the most shameful arrest videos of all these people because they have done nothing but absolutely screw you over and pad theirs and their families' pockets. Now, get this. Like you said, the gaslighting and the USAID, all this stuff. 3 months ago, a reporter brought it up in the White House about, hey, so it sounds like, these people are having a really tough time in North Carolina and some of them in Florida after the hurricanes. But there's rumor that, FEMA is, spending exorbitant amounts on illegals. And that was met with right here. Good old KJP. Thank God she's gone from the White House. Have a listen to this and let's have a chat.
Former President Trump is accusing the Biden administration of using FEMA funding to support undocumented migrants. How is the White House responding to that?
I mean, it's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement.
Okay, so it's categorically false coming from the White House press secretary. And today, it came out. $59 million in luxury hotels for illegals. Mm-hmm. And the government paying twice the going rate for those rooms so they could house illegals in New York City at the Roosevelt. And we've got veterans living on the streets. We have got veterans who have turned to drugs because they have nothing else to do. You have people wrecked in hurricanes still living in tents. And we got $59 million in luxury hotels. And you're told No, that is categorically false.
Yeah. You're a fucking
Do you
liar.
have any idea why I was a little irked today?
Everybody should be fucking irked right now.
You know what?
Everybody should be irked.
You know what's funny? You can look on X, and if the typing on X or even whatever Facebook allows, if people could actually type with inflection and emotion on those, they would sound as angry as I am today.
Yeah.
And there are, you know what? The amount of crap that these people have wasted and squandered, all while they want to hire 80,000 IRS agents that are armed to come knock on your door looking for a buck. Go to prison. Goodbye.
That's the point I was going to get at, right? Is like, okay, so you've got Nancy Pelosi, who's worth, I looked it up a week or two ago. It's almost $200 million on a $200,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
Liz Warren, worth $12 million on a $200,000 a year salary. What the fuck deals are you making? You're an elected official to work for the people, and what you're doing is stealing from the people. Liz Warren's getting fucking kickbacks from all the pharmaceutical companies.
Oh, yeah, big time.
When Doge already exposed it, they already went in.
So did Bernie.
And she says,
so did Bernie. And he's sitting there,
So
no.
did Bernie.
And they're like,
that's the
yes,
thing,
it is
Brian.
right here on paper.
They're all going, no. We don't do that. We don't do that. I never took any money from the pharmaceutical companies. Well, what's this piece of paper here? That's misinformation.
I can't explain that to you here. It's a matter of national. That's what they always turn to. It's national security. I can't answer to that.
What did I tell you on our first fucking podcast? The reason that I don't like talking politics, right? And we're going to talk it.
Oh,
It
we're
is
talking
what
it
is
today.
what it is. We're fucking in it. But I told you on our first podcast, because the deeper you dive into shit, where the fuck do you end up? Right in our government.
Yes.
You end up in
Every
our elected
time.
officials every single time.
Every time.
And this 10 years ago, I had 50,000 followers on Facebook. I had all this stuff, and I was exposing government corruption. I knew this shit was going on, but I couldn't prove it. And I started getting the FBI looking into me and contacting people that I know and have known and saying, hey, tell this guy to cut it out. And 10 years later, it's all getting exposed. And I'm sitting back and I'm reading this shit. And I'm like, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. I'm laughing because I've been right this whole fucking time, and I tried to warn people of, dude, these politicians are lying to you. They are taking your money.
Yeah.
While you sit there and you eat the fucking crumbs or eat the bugs, whatever that is they said.
Bugs, yeah.
And you're paycheck to paycheck, and you are fucking struggling. Chelsea Clinton spending $2 million on traveling and $8 million on conferences and meetings.
Wait, I thought they were so politically charged and everything else that they were so good that they were supposed to be getting paid for their speech because everybody wants to hear them talk, right?
Right. Nobody wants to hear a fucking Clinton talk.
We're paying for that.
Yep. So the Clinton Foundation raises $2 billion to go to Haiti. And Haiti comes out and says, we didn't receive even 2% of that, but $84 million goes to Chelsea Clinton. She spends $8 million on a house and writes it off, $2 million in fucking travel, $3 million in some other, I didn't write it down, but some other fuckery, right? And so where is the fucking accountability? Because they can hire 85,000 IRS agents to go out and audit small businesses and guys just trying to make a fucking dollar, right, to provide for their families.
Yep.
And you know what? If I fail that audit, if I don't tell them how much I made and I'm fucking wrong about how much I made and I didn't give them enough, they seize my house, they seize my property, they seize my fucking assets, and I end up in a jail cell, but they can take every fucking penny they want and kick it over to Ukraine and fucking transgender Sesame Street and then fucking take 12 million back and put it in their fucking pocket.
Wait.
And that's okay?
Wait,
There's
so
no
if you-
accountability?
So you're telling me if you fail an IRS audit with your business,
Yes.
you don't just double your business. They don't like just double your income.
No.
Oh, they don't?
No, there's a
Oh, I thought-
penalty for that, right?
Oh, I thought that's how it worked.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
if you're
If I was a politician, that's how it would be
that's
work.
right. We're not politicians. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
So, hey, on that, when you said when you said, yeah, the audit, and we're just trying to, everybody, we're just, a couple guys trying to make it. We run our own businesses. We provide a service for the community. So let me ask you this: if you, we both occasionally spend money frivolously and all, but how, if you went down to the store right now on what you've made, not what the government has graciously given you, but today, if your girlfriend or me or another one of your buddies said, "Hey man, you think we should we grab some king crab tonight?" You think that would be on the chopping block more so, or more on the, oh yeah, absolutely, we do that every night? Which side would you fall on that? Would you fall in the middle of like, hey, let's consider it, or do we have people coming over, or is that just an everyday, hey, no problem, we've always got money for king crab?
I'll put it this way: I can't afford king crab right now.
Cool, because you know what? The feds just did a $2.4 million grant for 1,000 households in the Sitka tribe of Alaska for king and Dungeness crab and king salmon, with the priority being that they buy from local fishermen of the same tribe. You just paid for 1,000 households in Sitka based on race to be able to go eat king and Dungeness crab and king salmon, but also with a heavy leaning toward paying for that direct off the boat from members of the same tribe. Your tax dollars just paid for that. You want to get, like, go ahead. Yeah, speak on that. Tell me how that how's that work?
That beer we just went out and had.
Yeah.
I had to put that on a credit card because I didn't have enough money in my bank account.
In the bank
to pay
account
for it.
because we haven't been paid for the last jobs.
Yep.
Because even as business owners, you run paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
Job to job. And you know what? I didn't get my share, my 1/1000th of $2.4 million to feed my family king crab, Dungeness crab, and king salmon.
Dude,
Did you get any of that?
No, I didn't. And if I told Emily we were having king crab for dinner,
She would hit you.
She'd fucking kill me. She'd
She
be
would
like, you're not spending that. We can't afford that.
She would knock you upside the head.
That'd be fucking stupid.
My wife would do the same thing.
You know when I get king crab? I get king crab at the end of our work season when
Yes.
you and I go grab it. We have a little, hey, we had a good season.
Yeah.
And I get king crab on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 times in the year that I get king crab because I can't fucking afford it.
Yeah.
But apparently I can afford to pay some fucking native tribe to have it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's cool, right? Oh, so how about our awesome and I've seen loads of, licking of the backside of our new representative in Alaska, cheering on his first bills through the House that are just going to give more public land away to quote unquote landless tribes. So wait, so we're, I'm to the point of the whole I don't care, Margaret, when somebody's like, well, you're just racist. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I do not care what you think. I don't think we should be separating people based on race anymore. This is done. The giving away of land and all that. So you know what? To all those people that want to say, oh, well, you're just a racist. I would say the same thing if we spent $2.4 million on 1,000 households of Jewish people that wanted hummus.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing.
Or white people that wanted ribeye steaks.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say the same thing about white people in remote Alaska somewhere, and there's a bill that comes out and says, oh yeah, we're going to give away 240,000 acres to these people. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I don't care what your race is.
Yeah.
Giving just essentially what you're doing is squandering public access to that, because that gets locked up in a private corporation. They get to put signs up and say, no trespassing. This is this. This is this. Here you go. And on top of it, you ever heard of Metlakatla? Annette Island down by Ketchikan?
No.
The only reservation in Alaska, right? They have an island. It's called Annette Island. They own it. They They manage it through tens of millions of dollars of, I mean, essentially their economy is tens of millions of dollars of our money, government grants. That's the thing. Y'all need to understand. We sit here and talk about government grants and government money and tax money. That's your money.
Right.
When it's so easy to say, well, I mean, they just live on government money. There's no such thing as government money. It is your money run through in the absolute most inefficient way. So really, by the
Government
time
doesn't make money, they take money.
they take money, and by the time you have 6 jobs that are absolutely unnecessary, the $1 million that say Metlakatla gets, the $1 million there is probably close to $2 to $4 million that they had to take in
Right.
and study and pay because it runs through all. It's just anyway. That just remember that when someone says government spending, that is your money, and it is absolutely the most wasteful, inefficient way to spend money at all. So anyway, down there, Annette Island. Here's our island. You're not allowed here. You're white. You don't get to come here.
That's right.
Unless you roll in and, you know, talk to us and do our thing. Okay. On top of that, it's escaped me now after fishing down there for so long. 2,000 to 3,000 feet. I can't remember what it is. Off of that island in the saltwater is their exclusive economic zone. If that 2,000 or 3,000 feet hit another landmass that is promenaded out of the saltwater, it starts over and goes another 2,000 to 3,000 feet off of that. Now, that is quote unquote theirs. You can't fish there. You can transit through it, but you can't fish there. You can't hunt there. You can't nothing, right? Because, you know, unfortunately for you, you've got, you know, this thing called white privilege because, you know, it's really privilege, high privilege. You can't do that. Now, who enforces those laws? The Coast Guard, the U.S. Coast Guard.
Okay, so I'm paying for that.
And NOAA.
Yeah.
So we're paying for both those, right?
Yeah.
That's who enforces those laws.
Okay.
So in order to keep the non-Annette Island residents and tribal members out of there, we pay tax money to be enforced to do this. While they call themselves sovereign, have 4 different high-profile arrests for
let me guess. Domestic abuse, rape, and what?
Yep, you nailed it. All the above.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, well, we just need to get them back over here because we have tribal law and that's what they're subject to. So no, you can't do this. Yet they have an Alaska State ferry twice a day that runs over there and back so they can come to Ketchikan and hit Walmart and Safeway, and because there's no economy over there except for, once again, what's their economy? Our tax money going to them. Okay? So go ahead and just look all this up. Call me racist, call me a hater, whatever. I don't care. But then we have our newly elected representative that wants to give away more land because these poor landless tribes. You want to know what happened when a quote unquote landless tribe was given after court battles and court battles and court battles? Look no further than Kodiak, Alaska. When Lesnoy was allowed to say, this is our land. This is where where our people were, which was actually about 16 white people out of Arizona, and said they were, we're this native tribe. Well, so Lesnoy gets this chunk of Kodiak, right? Magically, it's all on the road system. You know, so, we just need to own both sides of the road so you can't go anywhere. For all the tree huggers out there that feel a little sorry spot for the, they should have their land and everything. Wait till you see the Tongass National Forest when they're done with it, because it's going to be the same as Lesnoy. It will be clear cut. They will pay the loggers to go in and log it. They will destroy every road with the log trucks. I'm not talking about the natives, but the loggers will destroy every road with overloaded log trucks. And after about 16 years, those quote unquote landless tribes will put out a nice article talking about how they can finally give their shareholders $1 while they take 8 or 9 of them as the board and all that and eat up those timber profits.
Yep.
To the tune of Kodiak was somewhere in the $1 to $2 million per week. The loggers were paying them to harvest and export timber because you know what? There's no sawmill. So guess where it all went? China. You want to talk about being mad about the Tongass and the logging and everything else? You just wait until Nick Begich's plan comes together. You ain't seen clear cutting yet.
So that's funny because I actually voted for Begich. I actually went down.
So did I.
Went to a private party with him, got introduced to him by some people that I know very well, some customers of mine.
Yep.
Shook his hand, talked to him a little bit, was like, hey, I'm a small business owner here in Alaska. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Talked to big game, right? And I'm like, okay, I can get behind this guy. Never once did he mention having any plans of doing any of this. And that's my point about politicians is this is what they do. They lie to your fucking face to get into office, and then they get back end money off of a bunch of fucking shady ass deals that you pay for.
Yep.
Can't fucking stand it. And I didn't know that about Nick Begich. I'm not fucking surprised because he's a greasy politician, which is exactly why I love Donald Trump, because he's not a fucking politician. And that's why I love Elon Musk, because he's not a politician and he can't be bought. He's not going to be paid to look the other way. No, we're going to come in here and we're going to do what's right for the Americans. And yet all these politicians that are clearly fucking guilty because they are shitting their pants right now, screaming all over social media and the news that this is illegal and this shouldn't happen and blah, blah, blah. We are exposing government corruption and stealing from the American people. And if you have a fucking problem with that, you're the first one we're looking at.
Yeah, you're the problem. The
You're
first
problem.
one to scream loud when you're finding corruption and waste is the one to
doing
look
the
at.
corruption.
Yeah. And that goes right back to the Alaska Doge thing. I just saw that last night, and I saw the list of names who's on there. And I'm like,
that's clearly what it is. It's somebody trying to get their hands on it before
Yes.
somebody else does so they can cover their tracks.
that is exactly it.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I have no ill will toward Jamie Allard or any of those. But to see that roster
Mhm.
and go, looks like all of y'all been in government for a good while, and then they grab the one tech guy that's IT and AI and all that is like, yeah, I'd like to see the open books on that.
Isn't Dan Sullivan the one that's been saying for the last fucking 10 years that Alaskans are going to get the full PFD? Hasn't that been his spiel?
Oh, the old whatever he was. No, I mean they all do that, and that's part of the thing too. I actually commented on. I don't remember whose post it was, but it's like all of our politicians in Alaska with the PFD. It doesn't matter left, right, whatever. Why that has become a single issue thing.
Yeah.
I think that it should be a ballot measure that comes up, and basically the only options is not should we fund the PFD in full or no or anything. It should be the only options are the PFD as it was originally designed.
Yeah.
For the people, for mineral and resource extraction as a kickback for that. Shall it be absolutely 100% funded and paid back retroactively for all the years of thieving it since Bill Walker? Or should it be dispersed and done with? And you know what my vote would actually be?
Dispersed and done with.
Be gone.
Yeah.
Done. Because all these politicians, it's just an easy little football. It's a little, oh, here, I'll toss. Oh, look, I'll just bring up the PFD. Oh, I'm all for your full PFD. And magically it never happens and it just keeps getting squandered. So
Yeah.
I would rather just have it not be a talking point and actually make them think of a new talking point.
So here's for some of you that are not from Alaska, don't know anything about Alaska. The PFD is the permanent fund dividend. We as residents,
I thought it was a personal flotation device.
It is a personal. We, as residents of Alaska, get a check every single year from the state. And I think last year it was like $1,700. It's supposed to be like 4,000. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck this up. I don't know this in and out because I really don't give a shit about it. But I'm gonna give you the spitball big picture here. Is basically the oil companies lease the land from the state. They extract oil. They then pay the state for that, and the residents of the state get a cutback of it. And it's supposed to be about $4,000 or $5,000 per person.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here 10 years. I have never once seen $4,000. One year I saw like $2,800, and every other year it's been
That was the last good one. It was before Bill Walker was the governor, and went in and said, "Well, actually, we own half of. So here's the full amount that should be paid, and we actually can say that we own half of that and spend it on education and everything. Okay, great. Spend it on education and cut our property tax, which." Magically, my property taxes go up 12 to 13% per year.
Wow.
Oh, and
but they're going to keep the PFD to help that, right?
Right, because it's always on the take with them.
Dude, the PFD with me, I really don't give a shit about it. And I never have. Even when I moved here and had nothing, it was like, oh, cool, I'm getting paid to live somewhere. That's a bonus. But the people up here that freak out about it, we should be getting this, we should be getting that. I'm like, dude, you guys are getting free fucking money. Go to work. Get a job, go to work. But so I really don't care about it, but I agree with you that it's always a talking point of these politicians that are like our local politicians that we're going to make sure you get your full PFD, and everyone gets behind them. And then they don't do that, and they go give away fucking land to natives, and then they're going to run a logging operation.
Yeah, exactly. So they're just going to go ahead and clear cut the Tongass. And
thanks for your vote. I lied.
Yeah. Funny.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you know what? That's really, when you just said it was is the first time that I've actually thought of that. And I always look to the, the snarky, sarcastic side of things. And when you just said it, that was the first time I've ever thought when you just said, oh, all these politicians are like, I'm going to get you your full PFD. And really in their mind, they are, because to them, your full PFD is like a quarter of what you deserve, or a half, or whatever's in the Alaska Constitution. Yeah. Like, well, that's your full. I mean, now that's your full PFD.
Now it's your full PFD.
Now it's your full PFD. So yeah, I mean, that's just all they are. And I think the entirety of the ridiculous, let's keep giving land away to certain groups of people based on race, based on that. What's really funny is there was actually a study that came out, and it turns out the first natives in North America were actually white. So that's going to be a really interesting one to,
So it is McKinley.
So it is McKinley. Suckers. And like we said on the last one, I'm totally fine with it. It's Mount McKinley in Denali National Park. Split the difference. Call it good. There was no written language until the early 1800s, so it's all hearsay on what that mountain was called. So you know what? No.
So let's talk. We keep bringing up racism, right? Let's talk about this for a fucking second.
Let's do it,
because I do not agree with fucking racism, right? And what's going on? So we as white people are labeled racists, right? If we say something stereotypical, well, stereotype's there for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
We all fucking joke about it. It's fine. Every fucking nation does. Every color, ethnicity, everyone fucking talks shit about people that aren't their own fucking tribe.
Right.
We all do it. Okay. Yeah. But I see Brett Weinstein talking on Joe Rogan, and I love Joe Rogan's podcast. I love who he is. I love the people that he has on there. They're all speaking some real shit. And he brings up this USAID thing, Brett Weinstein does. And he's talking about the corruption. He's like, but they do some good things, which I agree with. There is some programs we need to fucking keep, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying tear it all down, but there is some things we need to keep. Well, he brings up, a friend of mine owns a native corporation in Alaska, and it's a really good thing. They help disadvantaged people get contracts through the federal government. And so now I'm interested because I've bid on some of these contracts.
Uh-huh.
And my business is a veteran-owned business, okay? We have a woman that is 33% owner of the business, okay? Yep. So veteran and woman-owned. and I have lost fucking bids. But how? So this is my point. How does that make me disadvantaged? How is it okay for somebody that has worked hard and has the experience and knows how to bid a job to not get that job because this guy's fucking black? He doesn't have the same experience, but he's black or he's a native. So we're going to give it to him. He's going to go in and do a fucked up job because he doesn't know how to do the job, but he won it because of the color of his fucking skin.
It's because
that is racist. That's actual fucking racism. Yeah. Don't sit here and tell me because I'm white I have fucking privilege and I'm a fucking racist because I'm white, but everybody else gets all these special fucking privileges and that's not racist. We are literally picking you because you have a fucking vagina or you're black. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, all you have to look for is the whole, the big thing is you could, with woman-owned, veteran-owned, you could register as DBA. Unfortunately, up until now, the other ones are DEI, and DEI trumps DBA. So, but look at this, though. The one, I don't remember who said it. I listened to plenty of other podcasts and everything, but it just resonated with me years and years ago. And I don't remember if it was Rush Limbaugh or whoever. And there's like when the whole white privilege thing really got going and all that, it was like, there is no privilege to being white.
Because
you look at the people that are, half white, half black in the NFL. Just call it the NFL. Colin Kaepernick, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys. What do they identify as? Black.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no privilege to being white.
Right.
Yet it's just, let's just throw that out there and try and make. And you know what? I don't feel bad. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't really care, Margaret.
That's what I
don't care.
That's what I never understood about the Obama administration is they were pushing the fucking race issue. Like we were almost through it, right? Like there's not a whole lot of white supremacy left.
Yeah.
The whites and blacks are working together. We're just a one nation under God, right?
Yeah.
And then Obama comes in and starts fucking claiming how black people are fucking limited on what they can do. And it's like, you're black and you're the president. You literally are the highest man in the fucking country. Tell me how hard your life is as a black man.
It's the soft bigotry of low expectations.
How can you preach that? How can
than
you fucking preach that when you're literally running the country and saying black people are oppressed? No, you're fucking not.
Yeah. I just don't even know where to go because it's like, no, you're not. Like, I mean, you're the soft, once again, like I was just saying, the soft bigotry of low expectations. Rather than being a complete bigot and saying, as a black, like, let's use Obama as for a minute, as a black man, the dude's not going to go throw in the N-word and all that stuff. But doing the soft bigotry of low expectations is start with the idea of, oh, well, it's, black people in the city is a little tough. It's very hard for them. Can't get a driver's license. Like, why? Why can't you get a driver's license if you're black in the inner city?
What's stopping you?
What is stopping you? And all it is that soft bigotry of, rather than saying, you know what, these people are too late, and really, rather than giving the real goat away of, we don't want to enforce voter ID. Mm-hmm. All it is they come up with this excuse that just makes every black person in America seem like they're absolutely inept and all, and that is not the damn case. That is not the case at all. And it's that soft bigotry of low expectation. And it's no different than, people, women doing that to other women, black people doing that to black. It's no different with, white people that are, saying, oh my God, they're just attending a Klan rally. Like, shut up. Yeah. You're an idiot. Like, go away.
So my my Instagram Reels feed is pretty gnarly. I see people dying all the time, shooting videos and all this stuff. And
you're like Joe Rogan. I listened to him here a month and a half ago, and he's like, "Dude, I don't know what I looked up, but it just keeps compounding. Like it's worse and worse and worse. Like
people getting hit by trains and like fucking really gruesome shit, right? But I see a lot of black on black crime, and it's like, okay, so So if you're gonna claim black people are oppressed, but yet you're not gonna do anything to fix this situation, if you live in areas like Compton and fucking places in Louisiana and Atlanta and all this shit, right? Like this shit happens, right? So these people are oppressed because they've oppressed themselves and they're killing each other and they're fucking stealing from each other. Instead of doing that, if you want to get out of that hole, do something about it. Do something to help those people, like train some police officers and send them in there.
It's not even just one race either.
No, it's not. That's what I'm getting at.
You look at the
racism.
I mean, we talk about the tweakers up here. When I say tweaker up here, when I have a sticker on my machine that says tweakers suck, I have never in my life, when I hear tweaker, I have never thought about a black person, a Hispanic person.
There's no race to a tweaker.
They are shitbag white people that are tweakers.
Yep.
Like it's just one of those things. Like you don't have to be when you're saying, in the inner city, with black people doing this and black on black crime. Okay. It doesn't just have to, I get what you're saying. And it doesn't have to be, you don't need to be called a racist because you pointed out black on black crime.
No, that's facts. That's what's going on.
And
that's
what's
happening.
It's not
racist. And if you think it is racist, fucking do something about it and stop doing it to each other and quit blaming me.
Yeah.
Because I'm minding my own fucking business over here going to work every day.
Right.
Okay.
And it's the same thing like up here. Like the tweakers up here, it's a bunch of tweaky white people.
Yep.
You go down to Arkansas, it's a bunch of tweaky white people.
Yep.
That's what it is. And you know what? It goes right back to what you're saying, stereotypes. And they're there for a reason. When I say tweaker, what do you think? White person. Because that's what it is. If you say inner city crackhead, I'll leave you to think of what you think of. But there's a reason stereotypes are stereotypes, because stereo, let's see, mono, stereo, multiple. Oh, multiple things have happened that makes a stereotype. Ah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that one in. All of that just to define stereotype. Now we can move on to something else.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, so back on that. On the stereotypical, along with soft bigotry of low expectations, we still have, of these communities who have received federal grants of $22.4 million to buy king Dungeness crab and king salmon, quote unquote landless tribes, that we now have what is Nick Begich white? Yeah. A white dude in Congress wanting to give away loads of public land to landless tribes. Metlakatla in Southeast, who claims that they are a sovereign land and uses our own federal government to enforce their borders. And yet you still up here have tribal leaders in all of these native communities that are telling their people, make sure and go get your tribal card because you could get deported under Trump. Oh, man. Oh, these conservatives and these Republicans, they just want to get rid of you. They want to get rid of you. And they're just fear-mongering again. And it's like, dude, there's a couple, man, I swear I would take an assault 4 charge if there's one of them in particular that I know, and I know who he is. I would personally take an assault 4 misdemeanor charge just to absolutely smash his nose in and tell him one time, stop scaring your people, because they listen to you. In that culture, you're supposed to listen to your tribal leaders and your elders and all that. And I get that. But you know what? For all of you that are listening to that guy, stop listening to him. You're not going anywhere. There is no reason to think that ICE is going to come up here and nab you up. And where are they going to deport you to?
Where are they going to deport you to?
Back to Russia or China, because that's where they can't. I mean, give me a break, guys. These tribal, all they're doing is looking to control and power and everything else, and it's worthy of a broken nose.
So
100%.
Here's my question: why are we giving that much land away?
Pandering.
Right. That's the real reason. What's the fake reason?
You want to know what the fake reason is?
What's the fake reason
because,
that was fucking
because apparently there's
publicized?
there's a subgroup within a subgroup of a subgroup of another subgroup. So Americans, Alaskans, Alaskan natives, people that may have had people that lived in Ketchikan or Teneke or something at some point, and then those people that claim that they may have had an ancestor that was an ancestor of someone that lived there, those people deserve 26,040 acres.
Right, but so my question is...
that is legitimately what they put out. That's not the hiding it. That's not hiding the ball. So why anybody votes for that, I don't know.
Why that much? Because
that's part of ANSCA, because anybody that gets that, then if it goes back to the Alaska Native Claim Settlement Act of 1970, whatever, back then, that I thought this was all settled, but no, I guess you get to come out now and say, I don't have any land. Like, okay, fine, go buy some land. If you went to Congress and said, well, I don't have any land, what would they say?
Go buy some land.
Go buy some land.
I can't afford it. Well, better get a job.
And then if you want land, then you go buy land.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's different.
That's
different.
My point to this, Ryan, is okay. Would you say 26,500?
I think it's 26,040.
26,040 acres.
26,040.
Okay. These people, we'll go back to stereotypes, okay? But this is legitimate facts.
I'm on mono. Can I get a stereotype here?
Yeah.
It'd be great. I'm living on mono over here. Oh, now I can hear. That's
a purple one.
That's good. Now I can hear.
So these people, and this isn't just bullshit. These are facts. I know tribal police. I've worked for some. I know, and those guys have some of the worst fucking jobs, because the native communities, all of their fucking crime is they drink too much, they beat the shit out of their fucking spouses, and they rape their kids. That is what all of the fucking crime is in the native communities.
There's a reason that R&R, the Canadian whiskey, there's a reason up here it is quote unquote called Rape and Rampage, not Rich and Rare.
Right.
It's called Rape and Rampage because that's no joke.
The bottom shelf liquor that all the fucking natives drink up here. But my point to this is,
sorry, go ahead.
These people are not thriving. They're not growing and expanding at this mass rate because they're reproducing and thriving in the fucking economy. No. Why do they need that much land? I could see, okay, you're a native and you need some land to raise a family. Here's 5 acres for you and your 3 kids, or whatever your tribe needs. You guys need a 100-acre parcel. Okay, here's a 100-acre parcel for your tribe, and you can fit fucking 1,500 houses on that 100 acres or whatever it is, right?
Sure.
These guys are not reproducing and thriving. They're raping and beating the shit out of each other and not reproducing at this high level. Why are we giving away that much fucking land to them?
You want to know the real reason?
So we can cut down the Tongass.
Yeah. Remember the whole USAID thing that we were talking about, how it just flows through politicians and everything?
Yeah, I do.
So if you said in the state of Alaska that the Tongass National Forest is federal land. So our benevolent representative went there to go give away federal land to a select group of people. Okay. Now, back to one of the advantages that I had of living in Kodiak was looking into this cute little place called Lesnoy, this little tribe called Lesnoy. Mm-hmm. As soon as they stripped the land to nothing, they saved nothing to build anything. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to cut this and then we're going to make this amazing community center. We're going to make this, we're going to make a bunch of housing area that we can lease out the land to our own people, which would be fine with me. Hey, you own it. You do your thing.
Right.
Okay. No, you know what they did? They went to the Kodiak Island Borough and said, we have no way to make money anymore because the timber is all gone. We need to trade you this chunk of land for that one over there that still has trees on it. And they almost got it. That is what is
we
going
didn't
to
plan
happen.
ahead.
We
Here's
did
this
not-
piece of shit. Give us this gem so we can do
Yes,
it again.
so we can do it again. That is the perpetual part of
We'll
this.
see
and
again in 10
that
years.
people don't understand is that is how this goes. And like you were saying with the village police and all that, it is a hellacious job because you have one person there as a village cop, as a general rule, wants to do good for their tribal lands, for their people, for that, right? They want to do good. They want to serve and protect. Okay. You add in all of the rape and rampage that happens there.
Yep.
Okay. Then you add in these tribal leaders telling them that they will never amount to anything and the government is always oppressing them. So, goes back to the old adage, when someone runs off the reservation, that was the old Uncle Tom thing. Because somebody left the reservation and said, I'm going to go make something out of myself.
Yep.
And they do not like that. They want to corral and keep the underlings in fear. And the best thing they can do is what my wife did. Get the hell away from that crap and go make some. Go serve in the military. Go become what she does now. Do all that. Go be that person. Because those people that are telling you that you will not amount to anything, those people telling you that the federal government, you know what's so funny? Let's see. They all screamed and yelled about, what was it? Smallpox blankets, all that stuff back in the day where the federal government did some horrific things.
Yep.
And then every single native tribe up here in Alaska pushed and pushed and pushed on the, oh my God, you got to get the COVID vax. You got to get this. You got to get the shot. You got to get the shot. You have to have it. You got to wear a mask. Got to believe the government. Got to believe the government. And then all of a sudden now the government says, what the hell are you talking about? You're not getting deported. What do they say? Oh God, don't trust the government. Don't trust the government. You're going to get deported.
Fucking fear-mongering. It's fear-mongering, dude.
I just can't with, I mean, the people that are our age group and are not the ridiculous community activists and all that, but still listen to these other people that have been put in charge at their villages, tribal councils, all that stuff, and continue to sit there and go, oh, whatever they say, I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go with. Well, okay, so what is it? Do you believe the government or do you don't? Because one time you're like, oh my God, the government is terrible. And the next time it's like, we got to do everything the government says because it's the government. And then this time it's, oh God, we're all going to get deported. No, you're not.
So are you telling me, sorry to interrupt.
No, fire away. I'm done with that one for a minute.
Are you telling me as an American citizen, no matter what color your skin is, you can make whatever you want of your life?
That, apparently so, because.
So do you think at this moment in age, Ryan, do you really believe a black man could become president?
If hang on, let me do the division and subtract for not being. Yes, he could.
Don't forget the exponents.
Oh, well, I did.
Exportants.
Deportants.
I get, man, just what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I just, some of these people that just refuse to think for themselves is like, God, just think for a minute.
Okay, so
for the love of God, if anything, you know what we should do? My tax money. Okay, so we live in Alaska, so I'm, this is a microcosm of the lesser for of the United States as a whole, right? If my tax money is going to go to something, take some of these people that have never left this state and just get them out of here so they don't have to listen to these people telling them they're going to get deported and they need to carry a card and, all that. Get them out of here and let them, if 10% of them are like, wow, maybe I'm just going to think on my own and stop listening to you idiots. You know what? That's money well spent right there.
Yeah. So I told a little bit about my little blip of the story of coming to Alaska from Maine, but I spent most of my life in Maine. I did finally do some traveling just before I moved here, but most of my youth was spent in Maine. And I thought because like Boston was moving north, you know, up into our farmlands and taking over, and all the farmlands turned
It's like
into
where I was from in Oregon.
developments.
California is coming in to take us over.
And they do, and they bring their fucking politics with them, and they change everything from the beauty that they found into the fucking shithole they left. But anyways, I had it in my mind that we were like, there was no land left in the US, and like we were destroying. And I was, to be honest with you, when I was younger, I was racist because that's all I knew. I grew up in fucking Maine, and we had like 2 black kids in high school, and their both first and last name was Matumbo. Like, and that's not a joke.
Right.
But I was a bit racist because I didn't know anything else, right? I just knew my surrounding area. Well, once I left, I went to Costa Rica, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, came to Alaska. I've been all over the fucking north end of the U.S. I've been down the East Coast to Florida, every fucking state. I've traveled, I've hitchhiked, and then you realize, whoa, there's a big world out there.
Yeah.
And it's not just this little area. Now, I used to sell crack. I used to sell coke. I used to be involved in counterfeit money. I used to be in and out of jail in my youth. Like, these are things that I did, and I felt like that's what life was, right?
Until you see outside of that.
Until you get out of that, and then you realize, wait a minute, this isn't the way that life is.
Yeah.
Life is whatever the fuck you want it to be. It's up to you to choose that path and go a different route. And so that's the shit I'm getting at with the inner city black on black crimes and all this stuff. You're not oppressed. You choose to live where you're at. And if you remove yourself from that shitty situation and you put yourself in a better situation with better people surrounding you, you will fucking thrive because you have that ability in America. Other countries, if you go steal something, they will chop your fucking hand off.
Yeah.
That's real oppression. That's real fucking consequences.
Yeah.
If in this country, you can go fucking rape somebody, you can have an island full of fucking pedophiles
and never get their names released.
Never get their fucking names released. Like, you have so much privilege. It's not white privilege. It's American privilege to do whatever the fuck you want and make whatever you want of yourself in this country. Don't feed me no bullshit about how you got a shitty fucking hand.
One more thing, like you were saying with the inner city and the black on black crime and everything, that is just one more argument about these smart 15-minute cities that they're trying to put in.
No shit.
Because if they dump everybody in and they say, well, you don't need to go anywhere outside of 15 minutes out of where you live and exist in these little places that we allow you to be, and you don't need to own anything, then you're never going to know anything other than that 15-minute city. And there is a reason they want you that. When I say they, I am definitely calling out the grifters of this country, the WEF, the Bill Gates, the Tony Fauci's, all those people that have talked about these, well, you know, we should really pack people into this because overpopulation and all that. You know, they all talk about overpopulation and we're going to consume all the resources and all that, right? And you just said that in Maine, you were like, wow, I thought everything was like just getting built up and there's nothing left.
I drove across the country, bro.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a whole lot
there.
And you know what's funny? If you look it up, we could fit the entire world population, not the US, the entire world, at population density levels of Houston would fit, I believe, in the state of Tennessee and Kentucky, and everything else would be nothing. Don't tell me about overpopulation and everything. It is inefficient use of land. It is people that don't know how to farm. It's people that don't know how to grow their own stuff. And it's the doggone government killing 100 million chickens over a bird flu that was designed by a grant from the USAID to Tony Fauci through NIH that just made up this new bird flu that could supposedly jump to mammals. That's why your eggs prices are high. Not because of Trump.
No,
because
Trump
these
did it.
idiots.
Trump did it.
Trump did it. Trump did it. Trump did it. Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it.
Yeah. Well, did you hear about the farmer that just had his flock tested like 2 weeks before the government came in and said you need to kill all these birds? And he goes, no, I just had them tested. They are all healthy. I will not kill these.
We don't care. You need to kill them all.
We don't care. You need to kill them all. And if you don't kill them all, you're going to be, we're going to stick you with a $4 billion fine.
Yeah.
We're going to seize your property. We're going to seize your assets.
$4,000 per bird that you keep alive.
Uh-huh. Tell me
that's some expensive chicken.
Tell me that's not fucking corrupt. So then what happens? The birds all die. The price of the eggs goes up because supply and demand, right? The supply's down, the demand's up, the price of everything goes high, and then you pass off the fucking, pass off the cabinet, you pass off the White House to the next fucking guy, and then it's like, well, it's his fault. Look at that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the guy's been in there 2 weeks and the price of eggs hasn't come down, and you're like, oh, fucking Trump did it.
Yeah. It's so easy to see through. It is so easy. And I'm not saying that it's just like, I mean, it naturally for us, we question loads of things. But if you're on, I keep referring to X, and it's because Elon Musk has said this is going to be an open free speech forum to the point where there is a major movement on X to even ban porn, which is great. Fine. Get it the hell. If I'm scrolling, you can go find that crap somewhere else. That's fine. But there is so much of that people are using this as a community forum. If you're on there and you follow a handful of some of these bigger accounts, it is so easy to see and put the dots together and go, that's not right. That's who started that. That's why they wanted to. This is who it's going to affect. And this is who is gaslighting you, telling you that it's not this person. It's so easy to put it together. And it's no different with, I don't hate the natives in Alaska.
No,
I don't.
either.
I do not. I hate the fact that we elect people to go in and do a real job, and they pick up the last Democrat congressperson from up here, picks up her bill and just says, well, let's just throw that out there again. You pandering dirtbag. Go to work for the whole state.
Yeah.
Stop pandering to everyone that you think you need to pay. It's just stupid. And you know what? It's going to get you booted out in 2 years. I promise you that.
So
that kind of crap keeps up and Scott Pressler comes up here. Old Nick, the Beggett family line after Nick and Mark and all that. Y'all are done. Goodbye. Going to be like the Murkowski name, the tax and gouge me Skeletor of the North. Goodbye.
So the left is freaking out about Doge, right? We've established that.
Yep.
A bunch of them are fucking guilty from taking kickbacks. It's being exposed. So now they're having a federal judge that's a fucking leftist activist blocking President Trump. And the left is screaming, oh, he can't override the judge's rule. And then you pull up a video of Biden and he's like,
canceling student debt.
Supreme
and they're all
Court,
like,
Supreme Court told me no, I did it anyway.
Gonna do it
Nobody
anyway.
had a fucking problem with that.
Yeah, no, none of them had a problem. You know,
And that wasn't even fucking government corruption that was being exposed. That was like wasteful fucking spending. You chose to go to school. You chose to get that debt, fucking pay it off.
Yeah.
No. We're going to take...
you did women's studies in underwater basket weaving. You got to pay for that.
Yeah.
Not me.
Well, turns out you and I fucking paid for that, and
Sure
that's
did.
fine. Nobody has a problem with that. But when we find politicians that are fucking stealing from us and they're fucking guilty, oh no, we can't override a judge's rule. Then here, hold on, let me fucking finish this because this is my point. Is when it comes to laws, okay, when it comes to a constitutional fucking a law that's you can do this, you can't do this. If you do this, you're going to jail. We need to have a moral compass in this country, okay? Now, I do not agree with every fucking law out there. In fact, I break laws all the time because I don't think they're morally fucking right,
And because there's so many on the books, you don't even know if you're breaking a law.
Dude, I just registered my truck that ran out in July of last year, right? Like, that's against the law. But you know what? It's not that big a deal. I'm not hurting anybody. I'll have to pay a fine, fucking whatever.
They still got their money out of you.
Yes, they did. And they backdated it, so I didn't get 2 years from when I registered it. They backdated it, and now I got to re-register in July of next year, even though it's a 2-year registration. Anyway, my point is this, is they're screaming that this is illegal and this shouldn't be. What's illegal is taking your money and then fucking laundering it and putting it in their pocket. Yep. That's fucking illegal, and you should be upset about that. And sometimes you need to do the wrong thing for the right reason, because there's a fucking moral code that you should abide by, and these politicians are not doing that. And so if there's a law that says, oh, they can't, it needs to be an elected official, well, that's a fucking barrier of protection, because we're just going to elect somebody that is on the payroll to not look into this.
Yeah.
Break the fucking law and do the right thing, and let's fix this fucking shit. That's where I stand on that. I don't give a fuck if some man told me, some man that breathes the same air I fucking breathe, bleeds the same color blood that I fucking bleed, he's going to tell me, yo, you can do this and you can't do that. Fuck you. I'm going to go by what is morally correct, what fucking the goddamn book of the Bible says, excuse me. But you know what I mean? Stick to your morals, do the right thing, fuck off with your bullshit. And I know I've been swearing up a storm, okay? I'm a little fired up about all this shit that's coming out. Take it or leave it. I don't care.
No, take it. You must take it. You have to take it.
We eliminated the Nate button because we figured out that you guys don't want to listen to beep the whole time.
Yeah, no. We'll just talk.
We just start the podcast and do right, that's what you'd listen to the whole time if we did that.
So that's it. You hit something there with the whole, oh no, it's got to be the thing is, you look at the people that are actual constitutionalists and actually know the law, every one of them's like, none of this is illegal. They're just playing this up.
Right.
The real constitutional crisis, as all these leftist lunatics are saying, the real constitutional crisis is, number one, most of our elected officials have no idea what is in the Constitution, and they swear an oath to it. Number two, the ones that do know it use it to deflect and push their little minions.
Gaslight.
And run it, and knowing full well that they're wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the graft is coming to an end. And what's really funny, like you were saying, with the whole Doge thing for national, with Elon Musk and all that, it's all these leftists that are like, oh my, we can't possibly have it. And it's really funny. All the people in Alaska, it's all the people on the right saying, no, we're not accepting this with these people on this seat, because they're looking to cover their own ass. And you know what's, I'm telling you, there's a second one that's not advertised.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for these people that are in this quote unquote Doge Alaska to misstep. There is a second one.
Good.
I found a little something there, and they're like, yeah, wait for these people to try and cover their own asses. And the minute they do, they're cooked. And I was like,
fucking snare.
I was like, okay, I guess there's still some safeguards up here, which is awesome. So yeah, those people on that Doge Alaska team, you better make sure you're doing it the right way.
Well, so you have all these leftists screaming, well, that's against the law, and if you right-wingers are going to be for the Constitution, you need to follow the law. Well, where was the law when you guys were burning down Portland?
No, they were getting funded for that. They were getting paid for that. They didn't have to pay. The law didn't matter. They got paid for it out of your pocket.
They didn't care about the fucking law then. Why do they all of a sudden fucking care about it? I don't know the law. Okay, I don't know if what Elon Musk is doing is illegal or not. It doesn't sound like it is.
Oh, he's hired by the executive branch.
I don't give a fuck because it's morally right.
Yeah. Right.
I don't care what some man said. And if some man said that is against the law, some man's covering up some shit that he needs to be fucking exposed for. Therefore, that law is out the window.
Goodbye.
That's my point. Just because some man says it so doesn't mean it is. Base your own fucking opinion off the information that you gather and do the right thing.
Well, I mean, like you said, if it's, the law is the law, the law, the law, the law, all that. Okay. If you've got a chunk of property with a house in the middle and it becomes well known, it crosses a threshold when there is somebody that gives legitimate testimony saying, hey, this husband and wife are number one harboring illegals, and they are also running a sex trafficking ring. And when there's enough of that testimony of people saying, I know this is true, I know this, cops don't get to just come in your private property and bang down your door, right? That's what a warrant is for. That is why. And it crosses a threshold. When the American people had enough of that threshold and said, we need to look into this, it feels like we are spending way too much money and have way too much weight pulled down on us as taxpayers. It doesn't seem like we're getting our money's worth. And there was enough of a threshold that said, hey, we are now going to break down the door of the federal government and we're going to look inside.
Here's your warrant, bitch.
We are going to see who you're harboring and what you're harboring here. And turns out, yeah.
Doge, we have a warrant.
Doge, yeah. Hello. I mean, that's what it is. It finally, with the American voters, it finally crossed a threshold that said this is, I mean, I know everybody talks about, this is the most important election of your lives and all that. And you know what? This one came down to not being based on an election, not being based on Donald Trump being the president or J.D. Vance being the vice president. This came down to, are we going to actually be able to save this country, not even on a moral level, but on a level of wasteful, ridiculous spending? $39 trillion in debt as a country. We're talking every man, woman, and child in this country would have to fork out $122,000 to cover that right now. Do you have that in your pocket? No, you can't even eat king crab.
I don't even make that in a year.
No, you can't even eat king crab.
Right.
You cannot do that right now responsibly.
Wasn't it 6 trillion the first time that Trump got in?
No, it was more than that.
Was it?
I mean, he added a good chunk to it and everything else.
I know he added a chunk to it, but when he first got elected back in 2016, right? Wasn't it 16 that he got elected the first time?
I think it was like 19 trillion there is about where it was at.
Okay.
And then Biden added. The big problem is
he was after Obama. When Obama got in, we were at 6 trillion. 6
trillion.
Yes.
And that's
what it was.
Yeah. And people that are a lot smarter than me with finance were screaming at that point, like, why are we in debt? We came off the gold standard. We don't have gold to cover our dollar. Mm-hmm. We owe all of these foreign countries. That's another thing. We have all these people that are screaming and pissing and moaning, getting wiped out of the federal government. Like, well, what about my entitlement? What about my retirement? What about this? What about that? What about this? Like, our own Alaska House is hearing, like, there's a bunch of them that want to pass defined benefits package for our state workers. Like, oh, you're getting, like, military retirement kind of stuff. Like, oh, you do 20 years, you have a defined benefit, not how you've worked your 401k and here's your retirement. You've been allowed to add into it. Like, no, you don't need to add anything. You just get this. Like, no, you just because you were a grifter at the Alaska Railroad Company, that does not mean that you potentially fought and died for your country. Right. I'm sorry. No, you had a very safe, lucrative position for 20 or 30 years, whatever it is. But they're looking at defined benefit. That's part of our national debt is the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all these retirement plans, all that stuff. You've got all these unfunded liabilities to where we've promised these federal workers that, oh, hey, you go do 30 years here of quote unquote public service. And it's now coming out that loads of them get kickbacks. Weird.
Public service. We're going to take your money and put it in our pockets.
Yes. Seems like
But
more
we're
like,
serving you.
yeah, no, we're self-serving.
So that's another thing too, Ryan, is like what I was talking to Dad earlier, I was explaining to him because he doesn't watch the news or anything. And
Yeah.
I was explaining to him our last podcast. I'm like, do you understand what we were talking about? Have you heard about this? He's like, oh, I didn't know the acronym. I understood what you were saying, but I didn't have all the details, which then made me go look it up and holy fucking shit. And I'm like, right?
I love that he took that. I love that he took that little string because we left it kind of vague.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people now that understand what USAID is, USAID.
Yep.
You know, over the last week. But the last one we did, that was just coming out. And all we said, we did a little bit of explaining.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I don't have time. You don't have time on here. We don't have time to go into all of what USAID is. But the fact that your dad was like, no, you guys sent me down a little bit of a go do some research.
Yeah, a little bit of
That was-
rabbit hole.
That was so awesome to hear
Yeah.
that. And the fact that somebody went, hey, this is what the boys are talking about.
What's this?
Let me just punch this in and see what it is. And then all of a sudden, you're going to get loads of news articles.
So he was pretty fired up when I was on the phone with him. Podcast got him fired up. He's like, you know, back in the old days when fucking Thomas Jefferson and all this shit, he's like, those guys were elected officials to serve the public. They were public servants. And then when they were done, they went back to farming. They went back to being
what
a
they were
lawyer.
doing.
They went back to doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were hired to do a job and serve the public for X amount of fucking time, X amount of years, and then they went back to their life. We need term limits, and these people need to stop getting fucking rich, spending their whole fucking 30, 40 years in politics and then doing insider trading and fucking becoming millionaires. Do your job for the fucking working man and woman, and then get the fuck out and go back to your life. This should not be a career.
Yeah. Before we saw in the last week with, well, I mean, we'll say it on the podcast here, big balls uncovering things. My biggest thing was with the term limits thing was, and I've been skeptical of government since ever.
Yeah, me too.
My biggest skepticism came with not them stealing our tax money and putting it in their coffers. My biggest thing at that point, which this is even bigger now, but if my biggest thing with that was look at the ridiculous laws and ordinances and everything else. You don't do that if you do a quick, like, call it state government. You know, they're supposed to be down here for this session. They do their thing. They come back. They go back to playing realtor. They try and get reelected. They do their thing for a couple of years. Here you go. You're good, right? If you do that as a public servant and you go down and think, hey, what do the Alaskan people need right now? What do the people in Texas need right now? What do the people in Oregon need right now as a state legislature? You don't get the ridiculous over-the-top laws and all this, you know, transgender garbage and everything. If you're there for 2 to 4 years and you leave, because then there's a new class coming in and they go, hey, you know, I-5 needs some fixing. The Parks Highway needs some they say, hey, yeah, let's budget that. Let's give the DOT
Prioritize and execute.
Let's prioritize and execute and get this done. DOT needs money. The railroad needs money. Education needs money. Boom, we're out. Nobody wants to hang out in Juneau. Now it's become the cool kids club to hang out in Juneau, extend the session, get their per diem, and they know how it works. And then they get reelected, and you continue with these people that have been in for 10, 12, 16, 20 years in state, federal, all that government with no term limits on things. And what do? They try and make fetch happen. They're just like, oh, well, we need a law for this.
They make deaf fluid.
Yeah, they make government juice. But that's the thing is that I thought that was the nefarious side.
Yeah.
Was, oh, well, we have to do something because you know what? I would rather have a country that is working so well that I give you a thumbs up for just going out and having a drink every night and not doing anything to continue to screw up everyone's lives. But now you have people that are so entrenched in there that it's like, we got to come up with something. We got to do this. We got to do this. And what happens? It goes to the lowest common denominator, and every single time it is something that has race relations, and they try and pander to a group because they need that group block to vote for them. And then it's against this group, and then they try and apologize to this group and make up, and they do this big circular thing of making stupid laws and ordinances so that they can get reelected because they're pandering to different groups. That was my biggest thing with not having term limits. Now it's like, oh, you're just straight up stealing from us. So you can burn at the stake, witch. Like, go away.
I mean, when you're in there for so long, right, you become part of the corruption, right? Because you've had 20 years to sit there and you're getting fucking bored. So you got to find something to do. So which one of these fucking politicians decided that $15 million in condoms needs to go to the Taliban? Like that's the shit you come up with.
Yeah, we're gonna push abortion here, but we're gonna practice safe sex over in Haji land.
We need gay Sesame Street in Iraq. That's a real pressing fucking issue, and we need to spend American tax dollars on gay Sesame Street in Iraq. That I'm telling you guys, listen to me. I know our roads are shit. I know our cops are fucking killing innocent people because we're not training them correctly. I know that our country is in fucking shambles right now. But what if we had Big Bird, fucking Elmo, over there in Iraq?
I'm all in. Spend my tax money on that.
Let's spend it on that.
Once again, we point it out every time. Right there. Read it and know it.
And weep. You should be weeping.
You should be weeping. You should be weeping because you are so angry at those people that win, lose, or draw. Every one of us that has voted has had a winning candidate in our local elections and as a state representative, whether it's your congressperson, your senator, a local representative. Every one of us has voted for someone who won, and you thought, man, sweet, I got my person in there. And you know what they did? They fucked you. They bent you over.
And that's the thing too, man, is like, so I'm pretty right wing, okay? I know Republicans are guilty too.
Oh, I hope they are. I hope they are.
I'm not saying there ain't one of them.
No, I hope.
I know there's a lot more left. That's what it looks like now. But
no, I hope there are some people that hide behind that Republican side that have been doing the same thing, and you figure it out and you go, oh, that's why they voted that way.
Dude, George Bush, that guy was a piece of shit.
Oh, yeah.
I never cared for him, right? And when I was young, at the time he was president, I didn't know what was going on. I was too young.
Yeah.
But Republican, good, right? Because that's how we're brought up, and that's what I'm told is, you want the conservative side, you don't want the left side, okay, whatever. But then you grow up and you look back and I go, no, that guy was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be on my side, our side, right? So I have this like libertarian mindset of like, I want gay people to grow weed and have firearms, right?
Yeah.
Do whatever the fuck you want. You're an American. Mind your own business. Be good to each other. Take care of each other. Help your fucking
Don't cut
neighbor.
the testicles off your healthy son.
Don't cut the testes off your healthy son, right? If your healthy son decides when he's 18 that he wants to be gay or whatever, go do that. That's fine.
Just send him to Guatemala,
but don't
because then we'll pay
indoctrinate
for
his
it.
ass when he's fucking 4 years old and tell him that he was born in a man's body when he's supposed to be a girl, and then that's the kind of fuckery.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want to do. You can make whatever you want of yourself. You're an American. You have that American privilege. Okay, it's not race related. It's American. You are free to do as you fucking please. Make whatever you want of yourself. Don't hurt anybody. Unless they got it coming.
Yeah. And if they do.
And mind your own fucking business.
And if they do, practice judicious marksmanship. Make it one shot.
Yeah.
Be done.
One shot, one kill.
Yep. Right. Did you see the on to happier things? Pete Hegseth, Mr. Nazi tattoo himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's our new Secretary of Defense.
Yep.
Oh wait, I mean they laid Jimmy Carter over the Jerusalem cross, so I guess they laid him. I mean, the National Cathedral has a Nazi thing. Okay, well, anyway. So since that's long gone and he's voted in, then I guess he's not a Nazi anymore. Did you see the latest Army recruitment commercial versus the last one they put out?
I did not know.
So the last one they put out in the Biden administration was a cartoon that looked, I mean, essentially it looked like Cinderella. And it's this woman's voice talking about how, oh, she grew up and she did this and she had a tough life and then she graduated at the top of her class, and what really inspired her was one of her moms got in an accident, and then, well, she was paralyzed, and then she married her other mom, and that really pushed her to make her moms proud. And
You're boring the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was an Army recruitment commercial.
Okay.
The one that came out the other day was a dude that looked like about the size of what was his name? Brock Lesnar. Big, I mean, giant yoke dude. I mean, this is the guy that is like the enemy is running from. And this dude's packing a stack on his shoulder of weight plate, like CrossFit kind of stuff, walking along, and just shows him working out. And I believe it was Pete Hegseth's voice in the video that said, "Stronger people are harder to kill." And it ended like, I was like, oh my God, we're back.
So
like this is it, as much as we've gone away from it, the people in the military, under Pete Hegseth, I'm 44 years old. I would go try and get rid of my gut and serve under that guy.
Yeah.
Because of how this is going.
Yeah.
I would. If Pete Hegseth ever listens to this, you find a position for me and bury me in the dirt, I will serve under you for 4 years right now. I will stop my business and I will come in and get in the mud because of the way this is going right now. They took this from, oh, my lesbian moms really made me want to go do some things, to stronger people.
We're going to fuck shit up.
Stronger people are harder to kill. And you know what? The thing is with that is, I mean, not only is that true, when's the last time you heard the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, anybody talk about kill? That is what our military does. And you know what? Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to believe it. But you know what? The way you beat the bad guys is you kill them. And you do it in a way that disheartens them so bad that they quit. Because the hope is that you kill enough of them in such an overwhelmingly powerful way that you don't have to kill that many of them. That they finally go, dude, we are so out. I mean, think about it. If you took on a dude that was 5'4", that had no fighting skill, and you at your size, and you clocked him a couple of times, and he said, okay, bro, you know what, dude, I kind of don't have a beef with you anymore. And all his other 5'6" buddies were like, yeah, dude, we don't want to mess with that guy. That is our military. You go kill the people. And you know what? People don't like the idea of death and destruction and war. And so it's become,
but it's reality.
It's a reality. There are people other than our congressmen in this world that do dirty things. Our congressmen do it with money. There are people in the military that do absolutely horrific things and have to live with it after the fact to make sure that I can sit here behind this machine with my buddy with a beverage and talk about whatever I want to talk about. That is a reality of the military, and that needs to become the reality, not just a reality. That's not a reality show. It is a true reality. And those guys that, the Green Berets that Pete Hegseth jumped up at 3:00 in the morning to go work out with before he had a meeting, that brings a level of pride thinking, hey, there's somebody way up top that's got our back. This is somebody who has our back. This is somebody who is for us. And you know what? When you see Lloyd Austin walking out there in a double black mask and a face shield and all his medals there, is like, what the hell is that thing? Like, no, that's not our fight. That's not somebody that I want to fall in behind.
Right.
At all. Right now, if somebody came up and knocked on my door and had the appropriate uniform, so to speak, and said, hey, heard your podcast last week. Are you serious? Yeah, damn right.
So, Pete,
would I go serve this country? 100%.
Pete, if you hear this, I can vouch for him. He's a hell of a shot. I've seen him 300 plus yards. All he needs is a nice, comfy chair and a cold beer and a nice table to rest on. That dude could shave a gnat's ass, man. I'm telling you right now.
I won't talk myself up, but there was.
You don't need to. I've seen you shoot. You're a good shot.
I do appreciate the one time that you looked at me after we were out at the property and you're like, yeah, I got a lot of buddies that I've shot around and shotguns and blah, blah, blah. And they'll talk a big game. And you looked at me and you're like, I'll stand behind you anytime, bro.
Yep.
Like there's nobody getting close.
Well, there's those who brag and those who lag. You know what I mean? It's guys that talk shit. I got so many buddies that tell me how good of a shot they are. And then I go out shooting with them and I'm like, not that good. Like, yeah, you can hit your target. Okay. You can hit your target. Good. Hey, that's great. You can defend yourself.
Wait, did you put it through the same bullet hole so you could
Right.
have a report on that Tannerite?
You start fucking putting the bullet in the same hole at 300 yards and you don't talk about it. You just go out there and fucking execute. Yeah, that's the kind of guy I want on my team. And so back to what you were saying about the commercial and about how like fucking, like this is what we're projecting. We're badass motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
Trump tells the leader of Al-Qaeda, hey, you harm one fucking hair on an American soldier's head.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you. And then hands him a picture of his fucking house with his family in it and walks away.
Yeah.
That's the shit that gets shit done. It's not, hey, my mother was in a car accident and
my other mother
that was married to her. Yeah. Like, no. We were watching the Super Bowl the other day. I turned it on after halftime. I was busy until then. Completely forgot the Super Bowl was on. Then I was like, oh shit.
Well, if you missed the halftime show, that was best for you. And
I did.
Garbage.
I just see a bunch of people bitching about it online.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't really care.
Whatever.
Threw it on. And I was like, oh, Chiefs are getting spanked.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Suddenly I was an Eagles fan for one time in my life because I just wanted to see them get destroyed.
Well, so I'm also excited because I read on X that Elon had bought all the airtime and was gonna start exposing government corruption.
I don't know who started that rumor, but it got me to watch the Super Bowl, and it pisses me off.
I'm like, hon, we gonna put this on. I want to see the commercials. I want to see Elon just fucking destroy the fucking government right now.
No,
it didn't happen. So I was a little.
I think the NFL actually put that out because people like me, I was not gonna watch the Super Bowl whatsoever at all. I swear the NFL put that out on X like under some pseudonym and got some traction on it. And I was like, damn you accounts that I follow reposting this is garbage.
So we're not watching the Super Bowl. It's on. We're not watching it. And Emily's like, put your phone down. The commercials are on. I'm like, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
So they had a Navy commercial. And it was kind of like geared towards SEALs, but it wasn't about the SEALs. It was just about the Navy.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a fucking gay one, man. And I mentioned it to her because it was like a guy with a scuba thing on, like falling out of a helicopter like 3 feet above the water. And I'm like, man, when I was in my youth, the fucking SEAL commercials, they made you want to go kill a motherfucker, dude. Like they
made you want to back up from your TV. Dude's all in face paint coming in low on a
quiet, silent fucking killers, dude.
Suppressed rifles, everything. And you're like, dude, no, you're going for that guy. You want that guy over there, not me.
Dude, they were so badass, and I literally mentioned it to her. So it's funny you brought this commercial thing up because I looked at her. I go, "Hun, back when I joined, right? It was because commercials were badass. It was like." Join this force of elite men. You cannot die. We fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Your dudes have your back, and they are the baddest of the baddest on the fucking planet.
None of us die.
Nope.
We don't. No. We go destroy the enemy. And then we come back and we pound beers.
And nobody knew we were there.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
Hopefully we get back to it.
We got to make sure of their pronouns, and we got to hang curtains when we're done. Like no.
Join the Navy. We got gay flags and shit in the corner.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Now you ain't fucking joining that shit.
No. What do they say? It's not gay if it's underway. It's only queer if it's at the pier.
It's not gay in a three-way.
Oh, I thought it was it's not gay if you're underway. It's only queer if you're at the pier. Oh, Lord.
Yep. Okay, I'm done, Ryan.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I think I got my vent session out. We're good.
God bless you all. Hey, so we're on Spotify. You can find us on Rumble as well. You can also find us on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't always allow everything that we say, and they take it down sometimes. And they might delete the account. We're not really sure. Check us out, follow us, like us, subscribe to us, drink a beer with us if you see us in public. We love you.
Send it to your buddies. We know that enough of you listen, but send it to the buddies. Guys, have a good one. We'll see you next time.
Tell your mom.
Tell your mom.